I succeeded with my profession, with my work, but I didn't succeed in what should have been a purpose more important, and that is my family. That was not allowing myself to have a purpose larger than me. Finding a purpose, that purpose that's bigger than you is crucial. When you succeed at something, it feels pretty darn good, right? Yeah, I think everybody would agree with that. When you succeed at achieving something that challenged you or an opportunity you had, what that does, that success builds your confidence and makes you more prepared to move forward. There's some great quotations out there. Churchill's got one of them. Essentially, the step along the way, that success or that setback was part of that journey to get to the highest possible level. So you want to realize successes, but at the same time, anticipate. So the thing you're taking on may have a risk of failure. You do everything you can do, like preparation, be totally prepared, and you're going to succeed most of the time. Occasionally, you're going to have a setback, and you have to be ready for that and understand that you're going to learn from it. And that's what the debrief was about with the Blue Angel. You learn from the things that could have gone better, that you didn't do right. But what does that tell you? That tells you you're up for another challenge. Man, let's move this forward. Let's go get something even better. When you have success, how does that impact the people around you? If it's an individual success, is that hopefully a positive influence on others? And I think that's kind of a quiet, unseen proliferation of what you succeeded with, and that others see that they can reach out, they can grab something new, they can grab something higher, they can advance themselves based on what you've done. I get asked this question. Now, this is a much broader approach to everything we do in life, and that is, I succeeded with my profession, with my work, but I didn't succeed in what should have been a purpose more important, and that is my family. It used to be difficult for me, but now I see that that's something I need to share. And I got to do some pretty cool things in my career, but a lot of times it was at the sacrifice of the welfare of my family. That was not allowing myself to have a purpose larger than me, right? That was a shortcoming. I'll tell you what, I would have been a better officer had I focused on my family. I would have probably done more things in my career. The people around me would have grown better to see that example. I like to think it wasn't that negative of an impact on those around me, but not emphasizing that leads them to believe, okay, I got to stay here at work until 8 o'clock every night in order, because that's what the skipper, the boss, the commander, the CEO does. We have to stay around all this time neglecting our family. If I had gone and gone home at supper time, had dinner with my family, those around me would have, I think, our units, our squadrons, our divisions, whatever it might be, would have done better with that approach. So that purpose larger than self, you have to be careful with it. So you have to determine, what is that purpose in life? What is our purpose? And part of defining a purpose and finding a purpose is also knowing what your beliefs are. Have your belief levels established. What can I do in life? How can I avoid having walls built up based on my fear or my self-appraisal as not being able to get something done? How do I keep that from happening so that I can leap up and find this purpose that includes all the important things around us, right? The competition in the workplace, the competition wherever you are, sometimes you drive along saying, okay, the only way we're going to compete is to work 18 hours a day. Well, that can be detrimental, and it can push people away that you need to have on your team. So finding a purpose, that purpose that's bigger than you, is crucial. My purpose is to bring light and some sense of happiness into other people's lives. And so what is light and happiness? Light is being able to see things more clearly with a lens that is free from distortion, right? Take distortions out of lives around me, bring happiness and respect to those around me. I would say that's my purpose now, is to bring things to people that can help them feel respected. In my keynote, I talk about walking down the concourse of an airport. All of us are just tunnel vision right to that next gate. We lose sight of what's around us a lot of times. And so I try to take that term respect as part of my purpose now to others. Now, does that mean I don't tell a CEO, wow, this company's doing great. You're doing great things with this company. I do that. But what else do I do? I walk down that concourse. Is it litter free? Does it look good? Is that making my walk down that concourse better? Probably. I don't even realize it, right? And who is creating that little bit of lift in my life? But the invisible people that never get seen, that are out there with the cloth shining the walls, or the broom, pushing the broom, or pushing somebody in a wheelchair, even the invisible people, right? And how do you uplift them? How do you bring joy into their lives? And I think it's that respect. If I just say something like, hey, this place looks great. Thanks for what you do. You're doing a great job. 3 seconds, right? 3 seconds. It's kind of, some people look at that as a little quirky, but I think it's really important. And you ask, what's my purpose? Part of my purpose is rebuilding a lot of the things I put in second place in my life, my family, my friends, my friendships, making sure that those are now looked at in a different light, with a greater appreciation and greater attention to those people and those things in my life. I think the essence of servant leadership is keeping everybody in mind and working at their desire, what they want to have happen as a group. You pick a course forward, but you do make that course forward knowing that it's not detrimental to those around you. In fact, it's going to be uplifting for all of us as we go forward. And you listen. I talked about that earlier about leadership. You listen to what people are saying so that you can understand what motivates them. And think about that. What motivates the people around you? You don't know that unless you listen. And by learning what motivates them, now you learn how to serve them better and get them moving at a higher pace. If you have that sense that, I'm forging forward, I'm being successful, but I'm not being fulfilled. I'm not feeling like I'm reaching the pinnacle of my life, and you don't understand why. Perhaps the only way you're going to figure that out, is to ask people around you, what do you see I'm doing? How do you perceive what I'm doing? Do I look like I'm happy with what I'm doing? And if you sense something is off kilter, what do you see? But that takes you have to have a group of folks that you can trust like that. The other thing you can do, and what I do now, I go into prayer. I pray. I ask, what can I do, knowing that only you have all the answers, right? So that helps me. That's a personal thing.